I'm now joined by Sara Antonelli from Snapchat. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. How are you?
I'm very good. I understand you've just done a talk.
Yes, I did.
All good? All successful? Said what you need to say?
Oh, good. Happy to see the crowd
Yes?
taking pictures of the data slides.
Excellent. Well, pictures are the name of the game, aren't they, for yourself? So I wanted to talk to you about the history of the company. Like Snapchat started back in 2011. It is a veteran app at this point in an ever-changing industry. What is Snapchat in 2025? How have things changed?
You know, a lot has changed, but as you said, we are very long in the gaming. And to be honest, one of the part of the talks that I like the most is how our users actually grew up with us. The average of the Snapchatter today is like closer to 35 years old, and that's my age. And then we often say, you know, like, if you were a kid in college that you downloaded the app for the first time, played with a bit of face swap at the beginning, you came to grow up with the app, and today this is our core user audience. So we're no longer obviously catering only for Gen Z, but our core audience grew up with us and they're seeing how the app evolved in all its ways. And we're not only now cutting edge when it comes like to our AR solutions with augmented reality and opening to the camera, but also we're like part of the user's daily life. So they open the chat app like 40 times a day to speak to their friends and family. And I think that's how we evolved from being, you know, like a social media platform that you can do a little play around with pictures and a little bit of augmented reality to be a foundational social platform to actually connect people to each other and take that a level or a step further into building the relationships through social.
And it is all about engagement and connection. That's like the fundamental building blocks of it. So in a world that's full of competition and distractions and things that are going to pull people away from your platform, how do you ensure that users stay, that they remain in your ecosystem for as long as they have?
That's quite a good question, because we also proud ourselves that we have like a very strong LTV. If you think about like 14 years long social platform, we often say that we are almost the antidote to social media as well, just because these days, like, there's obviously a lot of talk on how social media can also be a little bit harming and a little bit more towards something that's addicting in terms of content and perhaps not quite healthy from a social perspective. People always looking for likes or like that type of engagement. But with building that close community as Snapchat, we were able to kind of revert that. And if you know you have your close friends there, you're always able to come back to a safe environment that you just want to make sure that you're building those connections and feeling good within the relationships that you have built. So in that sense, I think we're different than anyone else, and that's why users keep on coming back.
That's interesting to know. Well, I mean, for people who maybe haven't used the app, so you've got your legacy customers, for example, the people you were talking about, first-time consumers, people who are like, you know, the Gen Zs, the Gen Alphas, the Gen Betas coming up, who are going to be like, I've got so many options. I can go to WhatsApp, Signal. You know, there are all these different places you can dive in. Even Spotify's got a DM system now, I just learned, which is ridiculous. So how do you attract new users? How do you entice the next generation in?
Yeah, that's quite a good question, because as I said in my talk, last year we actually developed what we called Snapchat Plus. So we really started to really dive into the user behavior, because the Snap has we have 4 different apps. So you have the chat, which is the most used one. We open to the camera, which is more fun and innovative. But then we have obviously the content session, and we also have maps, which is very, very interesting. So if you think in a nutshell, it's an app that has it all. And I think at the end of the day, by understanding the user journey and how the user is connected within the app, empowered us, it allowed us to also even build a different model, which is called Snapchat Plus, which is a subscription-based model that allows users to actually explore different areas of the app. So for example, if you recall, Bitmoji is like one of the also legacy things about Snap. You can really tailor your outfit on the day. You can buy new pieces, you can buy the brands you like, for example. within the map, you can actually tailor in such a way that you can have your pet next to you, you can build your own house and your flat. So in simple ways, we were able to innovate so much to the way that the users are likely more to engage with the features that we have. And one step further, you can even continue to innovate on building things that you're not able to do elsewhere. So just looking at how the user engage with the different areas of the app just empowered us to build the next level of service, you must say, for the user so they can keep engaging with that.
Offering something a little bit different, a different flavor, weren't you? So obviously Snapchat is something that in addition to subscription tiers, you run on advertising, and that's a model. So and obviously a lot of people use Snapchat as their own advertising vector, as a way to promote them stuff. So I'm sure you've seen everything as a member of the company. What's the key to a really good Snapchat ad? How do you make a little 10 something that catches some? What's the recipe?
Yeah. So I always say you have to be native to the platform. But then people always ask, well, what is native to the platform? You have 4 tabs. You have, like the map, you have lenses which can be gamified and whatnot. We always say, well, a native ad as Snap is something that's quite snappy, is like straight to the point, calls your attention from the get-go, and has some elements that it brings familiarity. So it can be something along the lines of like bringing the map to reality. We have like a lot of cases that actually gaming apps that have the map in the ecosystem of their game actually replicate the Snap map to bring that into their user acquisition efforts. So there's this level of familiarity to the user, and the results are really great. Or even like leveraging the chat box as almost kind of like a way that you are able to connect with your friends and you use that into the user acquisition aspects, and that eventually just brings that level of familiarity to the user. So that's often what we suggest is like, say in a Snap, so be very snappy and to the point to call the user attention, and then obviously build something that's native to the platform.
Gotcha, fascinating. So we looked at some financials and some statistics and bits and bobs. Your Q1 2025 report pointed to 15 million paid subs. You mentioned Snapchat Plus earlier, and obviously that's a big driver and a big increase versus the previous year. So how does that new system factor into your monetization plans going forward? Because for the longest time it's been ad-based, ad support, and this is kind of new. How big a push is this going to be? How much of the business are you expecting this to supplement?
Yeah, at the minute, it's like actually is one of the largest growth drivers to the platform, and maybe we almost underestimated the power that a subscription model would have. But I think our users just love the product so much that they're willing to pay for new features that others might not be able to have, or have that uniqueness about something that's tailored and custom to them. So moving forward, because we're seeing such like a huge growth lever within Snapchat Plus, we in future are going to develop tiering solutions. So today, like a regular subscription is a simple $3.99, and you're able to have like, you can customize the app, you can have new features within the map, but we're going to have tiering systems, and then the highest tiering system, then it allows the users to actually have like a better selection if they're going to if we're going to be serving ads in certain areas of the app or not. So for example, in chat feeds, they can be excluded from being served ads. So there's all in the tiering system. So it's in the process of testing today. And we understand that's also going to be like one of the further levers for growth. And on top of that, we're then enhancing our ad stack solutions, really working around building a ad stack that's very performant, especially from a lower funnel perspective. So we can have 2 things as growth levers. One, that we're focusing on driving a different type of subscription model with a tiering system. And then from the ad stack, then understanding, okay, with that user behavior, how can we then empower our algorithm to be able to then define these categories of like not only tiering, but understanding, how the user is behaving that way. So linked into the app and its features, and empower and translating this to user acquisition channels, for example.